I am a retired hairdresser. My mother and I owned a successful salon in Genesee, New York, right on Main Street. And I did that for 35 years. The first day I realized I actually had started drinking alcoholically. I was getting ready for work, and I was putting my eyeliner on the top of my eye, just in a nice, straight, smooth line. Well, this thing looked like a heartbeat. I was shaking so bad. Of course, then I panicked. I got scared. And what does an alcoholic do when they panic and get scared? I put a little something in my coffee. I sat down. I smoked a cigarette. Okay, what's happening here? I went back to the bathroom mirror, and I couldn't have drawn a straighter line. So I wasn't drinking to get drunk or high anymore. I was drinking just to keep myself from not getting sick. I was drinking just to keep myself not going into DTs. I had to keep a certain amount of alcohol in my system, or I would start withdrawals. I would shake, I would sweat, be sick to my stomach. That's how alcohol addiction works. When you cross over from being a heavy drinker to being somebody who drinks alcoholically, is when you lose your choice of whether or not that you want to drink. You have to, because you have synchronized your body to have this alcohol in it at all times. Alcohol, I had to have that in my body in order for me to get out of bed and to get done what I needed to get done and do what I needed to do. Yes, it needed to stay at a constant level so I wouldn't start the withdrawal process. My mama always used to say to me, Melissa, I don't care what you're feeling like on the inside, as long as you look good on the outside, that's great. Just show up, look good, it'll automatically make you feel better, right? Well, in my heavy drinking and addiction, everything always looked proper on the outside, but I was melting inside. I was just melting. And I felt so dirty and ashamed, full of guilt and shame, and just for what my addictions took me to do things that I never thought imaginable that I would ever do. I didn't get clean and sober till I was 50. But what it was that day that I was finally at work and things were catching up with me, and I had a stroke right there out on the cutting floor. And my mom, I worked for my mom, bless her heart. She was also an alcoholic. She called the ambulance and they took me to the hospital. But like I said, it took 3 times going back there before anyone would take me seriously. The doctor came in and simply stated, Melissa, if you drink or pick up a drug again, you're going to die. Do you want to live or do you want to die? Straight up. He was straight up with me, right to the point. And at that point in my life with things, I was too afraid to live, but I was too scared to die. Nobody trusted me. I was a liar. I was a cheat. I was a thief. I was all those bad things that come along. Notice how I said was. At that time, I wasn't hearing anything good about how awful and difficult rehab is, and you have to leave your family and leave your children and do all that. So I didn't want to do all that. I didn't think I was that bad to have to do all that. I didn't realize what withdrawal and being abstinent was going to do to me physically, spiritually, mentally. It broke me. It took me to my knees. But I like to call that was my gift of desperation. Things had to get so bad where I didn't have a choice either to change or die. I knew I had to do something. So when he gave me the options of what some programs were, the choices I had to maybe think about getting into recovery, I jumped on it. And I haven't looked back since. Well, first, before I went to Stetson Med Buffalo, I went to Warsaw Hospital to detox. I detoxed for 10 days. I spent 3 of them in ICU in the hospital because my detox was hard. I was hallucinating. My kidneys were starting to shut down. It wasn't good. But I did it. We got through it. And then I started my heavy AA and all that, and that wasn't working. I was struggling. And so we talked about rehab, and I went to rehab. Stutzman in Buffalo saved my life. Oh man, most people, you hear these horrible horror stories and horrible thing. I loved it. I loved it. Was it hard for me to make the decision to go? Absolutely. I'm the mother of 3 boys. My youngest son was going to be starting his senior year in high school. And when rehab was brought up to me, I couldn't go. She came to me when I got out of my blackout period at rehab. My best friend brought my mother to visit me. The only one that would come and visit me, my best friend and my mom. And of course she showed up. She was a little intoxicated, but Claudia let me have her come in. She just had to make sure she was supervising the visitation. And right before my mom left, the last words ever spoken between the two of us is I gave her a big hug, and she hugged me right back. And she said, Melissa, someday I only wish I had the courage to do what you're doing. And I looked at her, I said, Mom, you never know. I get out of here, we've been partners in crime our whole lives. Maybe we can do this recovery thing together. She left that Sunday, and it was just a few days later I got a call that she had passed. Or had passed, yeah, she had the stroke and put on life support. But those were my final words with my mom. I wish I had the strength to do what you're doing. At rehab, I let my brothers and sisters take care of what needed to be taken care of. And I stayed at rehab for 43 days. Again, what a better place to be. I tried to do it first on my own. I got heavily into AA in Genesee, where I lived in the county, and I was good and sober for a year, and then I had relapsed. I was out camping with my family and some of our friends, and here's the stigma again. My fiance at the time had looked at me and said, Melissa, how would you like to share this beer with me? Because you're not drinking and you're making people feel uncomfortable. Every time I get a stinking thinking thought or something, because I'm not going to say the cravings and everything, they don't go away. I'm human, and this is what I am. I am an alcoholic and I am an addict. And when I'm having a bad day or I get angry, my first instinct is, God, it would be nice. But I know I can't. So I had to immerse myself in the recovery lifestyle. It wasn't just like a hobby I could have on the side and have this other life. It needed to be a complete life change. Change people, change places, and change things. And that's one of the things, the mottos that they have in AA, and it's so true. Now it's time for me to leave rehab, and I want to come home. My mom just died. I want to love on my kids. I want to love on my family. I just want to be loved on. And they said, absolutely not. You can't come and live with us. You have to do what the doctors at rehab are suggesting to you.
And what was that?
To come here to Batavia, to Jakarta, into the Women's Supportive Living program, and do an intense outpatient at Jakarta. So again, my higher power doing for me what I couldn't do for myself, right? He was closing all those doors, because if I had gone home, I probably wouldn't have been successful, So I did what my family asked, and I went with the only option that I had, so I could have a roof and a bed, right? So I came to Batavia October 17th of 2017. I honestly can't say that I did it solely. I really believe in the Lord, and I really believe in God. That is my spiritual foundation to my recovery, and I think he made it impossible for me to do the things that I wanted to do, right? Because he knew that wasn't going to sustain my recovery. So he put up barricades so I could only, like herding sheep or cattle, they can only go one way. And so I don't think it's what I did. I think it was my plan, his plan for me of how to get my life, learn to live alcohol free and drug free. I felt my recovery was here. I got sober here. My sponsor was here. My church was here. My AA was here. So when I finally did have the choice to have some say in what my life was going to go, I decided to stay right here. This is my safety space. I had gotten into my apartment. I had graduated from UConnectCare. I was all completed, and my wonderful counselor from UConnectCare actually called me and asked, will you please come in and interview for a peer job, and we'd like to have you come work for us. And I did, and here we are. If you had told me, I've been clean and sober now for 6 years, that I'd be sitting in this chair doing what I'm doing, I would have called you a bold-faced liar. This is our spirituality and recovery group that I do on Tuesday nights. Nice, peaceful, serene. First and foremost, I would like to welcome everybody to Spirituality and Recovery tonight. I was recovery station staff. Then I became a certified New York State certified peer recovery coach, and I peered. I was at the methadone clinic. I was at detox. I was at our regular Genesee clinic. I did peer work, and then it wasn't until actually this June I will have been in this position for 1 year. So I started as a little person in recovery and have been able to grow and be where I am now.
Mm-hmm. We're almost relearning each other and getting to know each other for the first time all over again.
When the people that come here, and I get people that are just like me that suffer with the SUD, there's a camaraderie. There's an unspoken language that when you look at me and you're telling me you're having a bad day, I know exactly what that bad day feels like. And it's not like just a normal bad day. It's just comes out of the blue, runs you over like a freight train, and I can get right on their level. I can meet them right where they're at because I was there myself. So I figured if I choose this line of work, I'm keeping myself in recovery. But as we say in AA, you have to give it to keep it, right? So now when I'm able to help other people and provide some hope for them, that holy cow, look at what that story is, and maybe there's hope for her, there's hope for me too, and maybe I can do it. And I strive for that every day, even if I can just give one person a little bit of hope that might be able to change their lifestyle into something better. And what my clients and people that I work with don't realize is that as I'm giving to them, they're giving to me. And I know when I go home at night after, working a day here and celebrating recovery with people, and maybe trying to maneuver when things aren't going so well with them, that I'm going to go home and I've got another day clean and sober, right? 24 hours at a time. But then as it gets better and you start working a program, things start changing and your life starts to shift, and all of a sudden things just feel different, and you have this peace that comes into your heart, and this feeling of well-being, and this feeling of I'm not as bad of a person as I thought I was. I still have time to do some good in this world and help other people. Ooh, it smells good. Lots of good smells in the kitchen today. Just a little bit of faith and a little bit of hope for yourself. can turn the whole trajectory of your life around. And when my life turns the trajectory, my relationship with my kids, the relationship with my siblings, the relationship just in general of what I am, what is my meaning, what is my purpose in this world. Well, I believe right now I have found it, to be able to assist the sick and suffering in a way that I know how to do that because I am one of them, and provide hope, and let's turn it around.
UConnectCare. We want you to work for us.